Man, this is lifestyles of the poor and unfucking fortunate. But I tell you what, but bitch, we got views.
I just, all of a sudden, in about 2006 or 7, I just decided to, me and my best friend, Shannon Houchins, Shannon's the CEO of our record label, I went in to, and I was like, I just can't turn it off. And I was into the PBR, professional bull riding.
Yeah.
And my ex-wife, Jessica, said, why don't you make a song about PBR? And she was always telling, why don't you do something kind of country, right? I'm like, no, I just didn't get it. You know, in my mind, I was like, I don't think people will get it.
Yeah.
And I went in and wrote the song for the PBR because she wouldn't stop bothering me about it.
And it was a country.
And I sent it to Randy Bernard, who's Garth Brooks' manager now, who used to be the CEO of the PBR.
Yeah.
And he was like, holy shit, this is incredible. We want to use this. I took all their sponsors and put it in the song, which is hard to do. Yeah. Writing a song with no rules is easy. Not easy, but I meant. Yeah. But writing a song where it's like you have to have this, and this, and there's like, that's way harder. And he was like, this is incredible. We're going to make it our theme song. Who did this? Now, I had never told them I did music or did anything with music. All he knew is my real name, Jason Brown, and that I played professional golf, and I was playing golf with some of his sponsors. Mm-hmm. And I text Randy back. I'll never forget. I texted back. I was like, I did it. And 2 seconds later, phone ring. He's like, shut the fuck up. Who did this?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
for sure.
No, I did that. He's like, yeah, I realized you put it together. Who? I was like, that's me, Randy. He's like, what? Yeah. And that's kind of where it was born. And he said, we're going to make it a theme song. And then, Shannon and I were like, well, Shannon, when I did it, he was like, what are you doing? I mean, he was had his studio in Atlanta, and I'm like, just give me a track. I'm going to make this. And he didn't even come in the studio. He was in there doing something else. Mm-hmm. And he came in there later. He's like, what is this? It's like kind of country. Like you're kind of rapping. It's kind of, It's like, it ain't like Bubba. It ain't like Andy, because Andy got I started Andy, Bubba Sparks, in the music business. Yeah. Shannon named him Bubba. But Andy and I were in a group together. A lot of people don't know that. Like, he was still in high school when I met him in LaGrange, Georgia. I mean, like...
Oh, yeah, we can talk about that, too.
It goes so deep with, you probably heard of Bobby Stamps, and Bobby, who managed Bubba forever. Bobby was my best friend growing up, and Bobby's the godfather of my kids. So, I mean, it was a crazy story, and Shannon's like, this is really kind of cool. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I just did it so she'd stop fussing at me. And then it just kind of evolved, and then it's like, we came up with the Colt Ford thing. It's like, well, and then I went in and recorded Ride Through the Country. I had no idea what we were doing. We didn't know. December
2nd, 2008, you dropped that one.
When I went in and recorded that whole record in about 10 days, the entire record start to finish.
Oh, wow, okay.
Wrote it, recorded it, and everything. Yeah. And it was like, wow, it just came out of me. Because I just said, I'm going to be myself. Yeah. And I'm going to talk about what I know about what my life is, which I'm shocked that at first country music, somebody had to run through the door first. But country music has always been like, they didn't know it would work. I'm like, rap I say hip hop, not rap. Hip hop and country are really not that far apart. I mean, they all you're doing is telling the stories about what you see.
Yeah, for sure.
In your environment. Hip hop happens to be inner city, that kind of world. For me, it was the woods and sticks and all that, it just came out of me, and it just made sense. And Ride Through the Country came out, and here we are 8 albums later, and it's crazy that I've sold more records than anybody. And I didn't set out to do any of that. I didn't set out and everybody's like, you created this genre. I did not intend to do that.
You were just doing Colt.
I was just just said I was a country artist. I've always said that. I was just making music. And it just kind of, here we are. And like, there's this whole other world now. And it's cool if I sit back or we talk about an environment like this to go, dang, I was, a very big integral part of helping this get going. And, and now you look at what Jelly's doing and the success he's having, and it's like, we've all done different things, I didn't mean to, but I ran through the door first. I kicked the door open. I wasn't trying to do any of that. I was just trying to make music. I was trying to make music that I liked, and I knew there was people that thought like I thought. Yeah. And I thought they would dig it, and and here we are.
So, you got time today, right?
Yeah.
We're going to break down all of
I'm good all day.
But what I want to do is,
you talk about Shannon, right?
Yeah.
How did you and him grow up together? How did Average Joe? How did y'all come up with that? As far as all that goes,
Shannon and I met. So I started working with Jermaine Dupri when I was, I was 20, maybe 21. So a long time ago. Jermaine was only 16, 17. He didn't even have a car. We met in Atlanta, started working.
Was that before Kris Kross?
We did the first Kris Kross record together.
See what I'm saying, y'all?
Y'all
don't understand.
We did that.
Y'all do not understand.
We did that record together. I mean, we didn't know what we was doing. We was just making music. I mean,
as far as when you did it, how did you did it together? What did you?
We were writing and put that whole thing. That whole record was almost made out of spite.
So you had a part in writing that?
Yeah, Jermaine and I did everything together back then. That's why fast forward to a year or so ago, I do a new song with Kevin Gates and Jermaine produced it. And it was really cool to reconnect. I mean, we did all this stuff together, then we lost touch for a while, then we reconnected. We're doing some stuff again together now. He's by far one of the greatest people in the history of music production. I don't care what anybody says. He can play multiple instruments. He can write hip-hop songs. He can write R&B songs. He started off as a dancer. I mean, if you go back and look at Freaks Come Out at Night video, I mean, that's Jermaine dancing in there at like 12 years old with a jerry curler. Yeah. I mean, so I go way, way back in hip hop.
He's definitely one of the goats.
I'd put my hip hop overall knowledge with about anybody you'd want to sit down.
Bro, that's crazy that you helped.
It was just crazy. I mean, it's crazy that it's come to where it is. I mean, I was in those videos. I mean, we didn't know Kris Kross was going to be that big.
And it was a parody. You was originally making it out to be a parody, not a parody.
Not a parody. So Jermaine and Dallas Austin were both up and coming young producers. Dallas was older than Jermaine in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And Jermaine's father, Michael Malden, who used to manage me, Mike's been the president of black music for Sony. Mike used to manage Shaka Khan. Yeah. One of the OGs of the world. So, I mean, Jermaine, we were doing writing, making music, doing all kind of stuff. I mean, Jermaine produced, we were working together when we did the first, it wasn't even TLC then, they were called Second Nature. Chili was not in the group.
This was okay. Yeah.
Remember Arrested Development?
Absolutely, so Tennessee. Yeah.
Headliner, the DJ, and then his wife was the original lead singer of TLC.
You're getting gems right here.
Dude. So his wife's the original lead singer of TLC. Yeah. She got pregnant, and when they kind of did their deal with LA and Babyface, they kind of basically kicked her out of the group.
Oh, and then
replaced her and introed Chili. Wow. Lisa left. Lisa was coming down here from Chicago when she was we were staying at Jermaine's house. I mean, she wasn't even in a group at that time. Yeah. They were called Second Nature. So it's crazy to think where that evolved to. And then.
So see, you were still, even though because you were young at this point.
I was playing professional golf too.
Yeah, you were still playing. You playing golf.
I was and people would meet me with Jermaine. They're like, "What the fuck is going on?" Because Jermaine was a kid too. Yeah. I mean, he didn't even have a car. Yeah. I mean, I would go pick up Chris and Chris every day after school and bring them to the house, and we would, we just made it up, teach them how to say the miggity 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 mag daddy. Yeah. I mean, Jermaine was just such a genius, but that all kind of evolved back up to, remember ABC, Another Bad Creation? Well, Jermaine had done some songs, and I guess at that, and him and Dallas are cool now, but Dallas, there was that friction of well, if he does it, then I ain't gonna do it, kind of deal. And the ABC had their mental thing, and Mike Bivens, and and we kind of created Kris Kross out of spite because they pulled the records that had been done.
For ABC.
Right, because Dallas...
Which were huge, because that was during that time frame.
And Dallas, at that point, they were like, Mike chose Dallas over Jermaine. Which, they're both freaking phenomenal. Yeah. But, at that point, that's what happened. Yeah. So, allow me to retort, and Chris and Chris wanted an autograph from Silk Times Leather, which is the first girl rap group that was ever on Geffen Records. And Jermaine produced them. Yeah. Vicky and Jocelyn, they were from Atlanta, Silk Times Leather. Yeah. They never got huge, but they were pretty big regionally for a while. and they wanted an autograph from Jermaine, and it was like, so we were like, so what do y'all do? Nothing. We're just two best friends. You're both best friends. You're both named Kris. Look like a little miniature kid and play.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure. Yeah,
one had a high top fade.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just who they were, and
Yeah.
and then it just evolved to being one of the biggest records in the world.
Bro,
on tour
huge.
on tour with Michael Jackson.
Yeah, dude.
Like, and you know, Jermaine went on to become. Jermaine's in the World Songwriter Hall of Fame. I mean, how many producers? One thing, say producers. How many are in the World Songwriter Hall of Fame?
Yeah. Well, you're not just making beats.
Songwriter.
Yeah, you're
right. You know what I mean? Not nobody else in the room helping you.
Yeah.
Songwriter.
Yeah.
Like, I think out of the top, Billboard put out the top 100 R&B songs of all time, and I think Jermaine wrote two or three out of the top 5.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a GOAT.
Shout out to Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah,
that would be a bucket list interview right there.
He's GOAT, man. I could probably set it up where you can go down there. Jermaine,
Yeah.
Jermaine is just so unbelievably talented, and you know, it's cool that we've reconnected after all these years. We're both 50 now. You know, it's like it's crazy, and we're still doing what we love, and still talking about doing more stuff together.
And listening to, because I was listening to that song on the way here, the one you and Gates did that he produced.
Hood.
And hearing him on there, I had no clue about any of what you just told me.
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
And that's fire, dude. Like, you literally had something to do with Kris Kross jump, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean,
you know what
I mean,
and you were young. Y'all were.
We were all kids, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't know no better, and it was and people like I had record deals at the time then, but it was a weird time. It was a weird Vanilla Ice, you know.
That was when he just because
where
like
white people supposed to be in hip hop. You know, it was a weird time.
Yeah.
And I kind of got caught up into that, even though I was authentic as anything you. I mean, it wasn't a damn thing fake about me. I mean, I've been the same thing I've always been.
Yeah.
But it was a weird time, and again, we were kids.
Yeah.
Jermaine was a kid, so all of a sudden, you know, you're thrust into this world, and then there's all these people that are in the world going, "Who's this white boy that's with?" You know, what I mean, like. Yeah. That's not supposed to be.
And a Southern white boy.
And a Southern white boy, yeah. I mean, and you know, things, we just kind of drifted apart. It wasn't never no, you know, hatred or nothing. It's just things moved apart.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was hurt by that for a long time. And it was just, I just felt like, you know, we've seen artists that have had deals and then the label head changed and all of a sudden they don't want you anymore. It was just kind of, it was just a weird time. But again, God works in mysterious ways. So we're back together here a whole bunch of years later, and it ain't no malice or hatred. It's just like, hey man, we're both doing good. Let's keep making music, you know?
Yeah.